Ladies and gents, welcome back to Captain of Industry Update 3. In the last episode, we reorganized our production over here to move from using mostly iron for everything like our maintenance and things like this to using steel. Steel is a superior way, to make most of these. So we're making, for example, over here, a lot of mechanical parts with steel. Then we have our maintenance automated there. We started to recycle too. We went from research level 1 and vehicle parts level 1 to level 2 for both of these. So that has been some great progress. We did have a problem with diesel at the end of that last episode, which I have solved now. Now, to be fully transparent, I really wanted to show you how to do it. I had not built anything and I started recording. I built it along the way while I was talking. And then when I started to edit the episode, I realized that my sound was not working at all. Thank you for the update, Microsoft. And so now I'm basically restarting to explain what I've done, but unfortunately I have done it. I have already done it over here. This is my first blueprint for update 3. I created it myself, of course, from scratch, but it is. This is this blueprint over here of diesel, let's call it diesel mid-game. It's not end-game, but it's definitely pretty advanced. We're talking about 4,000 construction part level 2, almost 3,000 construction part level 3, and many others. And as you can see, I didn't build the whole thing because I don't really need the whole thing right now. But we are definitely, using this, and this is going to be better than what we used to have. And actually, you can see that we already have tons of reserve now of diesel. And so because this was better, I have also deleted just now the old one. Now we didn't delete everything. There's still a couple of things left because my electricity production was also there, right? My paper production. And then here, this was the rubber. Actually, we don't need anymore. We don't need that. This is all empty. So we can delete this. But again, we need to be careful not to delete everything because otherwise my electricity will stop and that would be a big problem. Of course, we will rework, this, we will make it better. But for now, let's focus on this. Now, this is the first time, to be honest, where it is slightly complex. And also this is the first time where we get a lot of choice in what we want to make. Because if you remember the first levels for the distillation, we didn't have that much choice. We take the crude oil and steam and we make medium oil. The medium oil goes into the next stage, so that's easy. Then we had heavy oil and sour water. But sour water, there's only one thing you can do with it, is to transform into sulfur, ammonia and water. And heavy oil at that time, the only thing we could do was to put it into a boiler. Now we got access to 2 new recipes with the cracking units where we can transform it to diesel or into naphtha. Similarly, if we move to the next stage, we're creating diesel and light oil. The light oil before we could only put it into a boiler. Now we have a stage 3. So with stage 3, we get access then to the naphtha and the fuel gas. Naphtha and fuel gas are really interesting because you can do many things with them. You can, for example, for the naphtha, use it for rubber, but you can also transform it into diesel, into fuel gas, or into steam. Similarly, for the fuel gas, you can actually transform it into many things. Diesel, steam, hydrogen also. So there's many combinations. But in my opinion, they kind of summarize into 2 big ways. One is you want to make as much diesel as possible. The second is you want to pollute the least amount. So what do I mean? Well, if you look again over here, you're going to create 36 of your diesel from your 60 of crude oil. But there is a way to make actually a lot more, to make even more than 60 if you want. How? Well, if we look at heavy oil, we can transform heavy oil into more diesel. But again, also if we want, we can transform our naphtha into, into more diesel. And also our fuel gas into more diesel. So this is the first way, create as much diesel as you can. The second way is more, you're gonna take your heavy oil. Actually, I think your heavy oil, you will transform it. No, your heavy oil will transform it into naphtha and fuel gas. Then your naphtha that you were creating from before and that you just created now, you will transform into more fuel gas and some hydrogen. And then all of your fuel gas, so by now you're creating quite a lot of fuel gas, right? You will transform it all into hydrogen and just a bit of carbon dioxide. So yes, this carbon dioxide is a bit of pollution, but it's actually, first of all, a lot less pollution than the exhaust. And second, it's really not that much. So when it's less, if I look over here, 900 of carbon dioxide is only 225 of pollution, versus if you look at the exhaust, where is my exhaust? Here. 900 of exhaust is actually 450, so double the pollution. So CO2 is definitely a lot better. On top of this CO2, you can actually reuse it. You can, for example, transform it into graphite, or you can even send it into the sea and then you don't pollute anything. So that is not in the sea, sorry, in the soil. So this is a lot better, but more importantly, you create tons of hydrogen, and then this hydrogen you can use to make steam, but without any pollution. So that way you can run the whole production, right? Transformation of crude oil into diesel with zero coal. You don't need to bring coal, and with very, very little pollution. But if you go that way again, you will not create as much diesel. So in my case, I decided to create as much diesel as possible. So let's follow this along. We have over here, right, 4 of these huge fluid storage, 2,500 each of crude oil. For now, I've only built 1. In the future, we can very quickly build this second. And then in the future, when I do the research for the next cargo depot, level 6 will unlock this one here, level 8 will unlock the final one. So I'm ready for the full, I can keep it for quite a while. But yeah, we have over here, right, 1 pipe for each of these lines. 1 pipe here, 1 pipe there. This is bringing the crude oil, and again, as we said, we're gonna take some steam. Steam is actually what you can see at level 5. Level 5 is a new level that comes with update 3, and drops on the side there. One here, one there, one there. So we drop the steam and we take the crude oil to make medium, heavy, and sour. And you can see all of the colors, by the way, right? We have the heavy oil that comes from here, goes there. We have the sour water, here is the green one. We have the diesel. Now diesel, if we have all of this working, we're gonna make almost 400 of diesel. So we definitely need actually a level 3 pipe now. This one is level 2, but it goes into a level 3 over here. So level 3 is gonna be able to transport 450. So that's really cool. But yeah, we make a lot of diesel. We make, the heavy oil, the sour water, the diesel, and last but not least, we make naphtha and fuel gas. The naphtha is this one over here at level 1. Fuel gas goes to level 4, if I'm not mistaken. And we're gonna follow all of these, right? Starting with the sour water over here, goes there, and this is the one at level 0, goes all the way here into the storage. There is a storage to tell me, if it's full, I want an alarm, but then it goes into this sour stripper with a bit more of steam to transform into sulfur. This is the pipe here in the middle, right? Not pipe, belt over here goes into this. Now I actually need to put a burner soon because I think we're full on this. So this will get full at some point, but there is an alarm. Then second is we're gonna create some ammonia. This is actually the bluish one there, which will follow in a second. And third, you create water. And quite a bit of water actually, 21s. So in the future we'll have 4, that's 84. The water, again, we can follow the pipe, it will go somewhere over here. But first, let's follow the ammonia. It goes into this here, right? Again, a warning if it's full, but we're going to transform it into nitrogen and hydrogen. The nitrogen we send into the atmosphere that doesn't pollute at all, so not a problem. The hydrogen will go into this here, where we have a balancer to say first go into this fluid storage, please, so that we can make some reserves hopefully soon. And then you will go into this cracking unit. But in case this is ever full, we have this flare where this is not polluting, but it's to make sure it never gets full, right? This, as we said, will be used here with the heavy oil. If you look at here, right, heavy oil pipe. So as I showed you, the heavy oil goes in the back. Same for each of these, right? It's gonna go in the back always. And then it's merging on this line there to go into these two, just in case, right? We have some storage, it gets full, we have a problem, then it will go there. It will be cracked into diesel and fuel gas. So the diesel joins here on this line. This is actually not the same line as I talked about before. This is one line here, and this second line is another one. So we have two input lines, or three actually, but we have two that are level 3, because if this whole thing works fully, we're gonna make 744 of diesel per minute, which means, again, one pipe of 450 is not enough. And then the fuel gas actually goes on this side here. Then the second, so heavy oil, we talked about it. Then the naphtha is the yellow one at level 1 here, right? It goes into this pipe here with a pipe balancer that says first go this way, and it's this big reserve here of let's use a bit of naphtha. So I know I said we're gonna transform the naphtha into diesel as much as possible, but I actually do want to use some naphtha first here to make rubber, because rubber is critical for electronics, right? So a huge rubber production is great. And here it is, we have a unit storage full of 2,500 rubber. Love it, love it. But yeah, we are making, a bit of naphtha there, but as soon as, this is full, like it is already now, we need to crack the naphtha. And this will happen there with some hydrogen, right? And this will make some diesel and fuel gas. So the diesel will actually go here at level 0 directly into my diesel pipe, and the gas goes back at the top here, right, to follow this pipe and go with the rest of the gas. So for the gas, similarly, we have a pipe balancer where I say first go over here and make these small reserves there, because we're gonna use gas in the future for something else on this side. But more importantly, I take this gas, send it over here with some oxygen. You're going to crack it to make even more diesel and more water. Now you may have realized that I'm starting to have some reserves of fuel gas and some reserve of naphtha, which is not good. It is because we're missing some hydrogen and some oxygen, because I actually didn't build a lot here, but we'll look at it in a second. Or let's look at it now, basically. So if we follow for the hydrogen, there is some hydrogen here, there's some hydrogen that's also needed over there, right? It's actually two different loops, because as per my calculation, this is making exactly the amount of hydrogen that's needed for these four here. So that's why I am, making this a closed loop. And therefore then I have another loop here that is used for these guys. We're going to make hydrogen and oxygen thanks to these electrolyzers. Oops, I missed stopping. Okay, let's upgrade quickly. Sorry, I do remember now, because again, my recording the work. At the beginning of the episode, we did a small thing over here. We added those two squares, one with column, one dark. This is giving you unity as long as it's linked to all of your housing. As long as your housing are connected to one of these, you will get one unity point. And then this is a level 3 housing, right? Like these ones. They're both level 3 housing where you can have 240 people in instead of 140. Plus, you also unlock 2 new types of bonuses, which we will look at in the future. Now, let me pause this so we don't have the same problem. I also see we are low on wood. That's not good. Didn't I put a wood? Only put... Oh, that's because I paused them. Okay, that's my bad. So yeah, we are going to start cutting this forest because I finished cutting that one there. But worst case, I can also cut some wood here actually. Let's go and cut some wood there. Because I didn't realize that my wood was so low now. So let's go unpause these two. And let's go cut some wood. We're also very low on coal. Because I guess, yeah, we stop here. So let me just add a bit more coal. But coal is probably one of the next production we're also going to need to keep an eye on. My electricity has a problem because I'm probably low on coal. Oh, that's very bad. This is priority number 1, so it should come back very soon. And otherwise, we probably need these guys to start running. So let's build this quickly. Okay. Because this is going to send some fuel, hopefully very soon, to make these two run. Okay. So where was I? Yes, we need to make some oxygen and hydrogen thanks to water, but clearly I'm not making enough. I didn't actually check. I mean, this is the right number when all of them, so we can actually calculate. I mean, if I want to put 2 out of 8 or 1 out of 4, that means I need 1 line out of 4 lines. So this is why, you know, oh no, this is why. That's the problem. The water wasn't coming in. So the whole thing wasn't working. Now it should start working perfectly. So we're gonna make basically hydrogen. This is what comes at level 0 over here. And then we're gonna make oxygen. This is what comes at level 1. So the hydrogen comes over here, goes directly here. And the oxygen comes here, where we're actually making more oxygen than hydrogen. So at some point we're gonna need to send some into the atmosphere, but that would be later on. Okay, we need to fix our electricity ASAP, please. So as soon as we get here some coal. Oh, this needs to be priority number 1 for sure. Otherwise my coal is gonna get stuck. But here it is, we're getting some coal. So hopefully this guy is smart. And actually here there is already coal. This is number 3. Why are you not going there? Oh, this is full. Sorry, my bad. So why didn't you start? Oh, I don't even have enough electricity to run the belts here. Okay. So we really need you to get started here, please. Go for it. Please. Please. I just need a truck to take. Here it is. Okay, they're coming now. That's restarting. Perfect. Okay. So that will restart those belts here, right? Here it is. They're starting, which will restart those 2 boilers. Fixing my electricity is the next thing on the list. But I'm making enough, right? It's just we need to make sure that electricity never stops, basically. Okay. And frankly, it's all your guys' fault. If I wasn't talking about this whole thing, I would have seen the problem quicker, but that's okay. I guess one thing I can do is I should run, you know, storage here, dedicated storage. We can do that in a sec. Okay, water resource is getting low. Oh, that's fine. How can it be low? Oh, because I'm using the water for my population. That's why it's low. Okay. So guys, you're gonna stop getting any water. Okay, but yes, What else? I think that's pretty much it, ladies and gents. I know that, sorry, the end was a bit of a mess, but basically should be working perfectly. Don't hesitate to tell me in the comments below if you disagree. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a really great way to make tons of diesel, again, to be precise, by using 480 when the whole thing is working. Here we're gonna make 744 per minute. This will of course require an even bigger shape, and I don't need that right now. But as you can see, we have good reserves of diesel for the ship, so that's good. Oh yes, one thing I forgot is we are making water here. Right, we are making water there, but we're using quite a bit of water for my boilers that are using coal, right? So I do need a small boost of water. One of these desalinators that is taking seawater and a bit of steam to make the water and brine. Brine is actually just dumped into the ocean right now, even if I do have a pipe here to bring some there, so in case we ever need it. But for now I don't. And the water will go into this pipe balancer. The water produced here is not the priority. Of course, the priority is the water we're creating here and the water we're creating there, so that, you know, this only works when needed. But yeah, we have some good reserves of water that we send again into my boilers here, and we send also into these guys there. Again, I know many of you like when I build it live, and I promise I did it, but OBS didn't like it. Next one, as I mentioned, I think we're gonna need to solve our electricity problem, which is not so much we need to increase the production, it's more we need to make sure it's never gonna stop. So I think we need to, you know, probably move it over here where we have then one big coal deposit or coal, you know, depot that then is linked to those boilers, but also is linked to a bit of production. Probably also we start then making desalination water for my farms so that we can simplify probably the farms too. I want to continue doing some terraforming. You know, I have done some pretty good progress here. Look at this. This is basically flat now. All of this used to not be flat. Here we've made some good progress too. Here too. The mountain used to be here, remember? And this was water. Now this is not water, and this is not a mountain anymore. So we're making good progress in the terraforming, but there's definitely more that I would want to do. We have also started to dig over here for coal, but there is still quite a bit of coal there, and most importantly, there is huge amount of coal on this mountain there. So I'm not too worried, but we need to make sure coal never stops. So that is one of our next priority for sure. We still have tons of research to do also. We did unlock some cool things like wastewater treatment. We have the electrolysis to make chlorine for the plastic soon. We have soybean, cargo depot level 4, I already showed you. And the trains too, I mean soon. I don't know when exactly, but we will, I promise. Thank you for watching, smash like button, and I hope to see you next time.